From deep in the Burbank Media District, it's time for another edition of My Burbank Talks, presented by the staff of My Burbank. Now, let's see what's on today's agenda as we join our program.
Hello, Burbank. Craig Sherwood here with you once again, along with, of course, Ross Benson.
Tally ho, roll, let's do a show.
And once again, coming remotely is Craig Durling.
Hello from my subterranean bunker.
Oh, Craig, you got some, you got a little bit of fire equipment behind you this time. What
I do. In honor of the upcoming Fire Service Day on the 11th. I wonder if we should make this a contest. If anybody out there can figure out where this picture of Los Angeles County Fire Department apparatus was taken.
Yeah, move your dome a little bit. There you go. Yeah, there's a very interesting picture there. So I'll tell you what. Let's see if any of our viewers can tell us where that picture was taken. We'll give you a hint. It's somewhere in LA County.
It is. Those are LA County Fire Department rigs.
So,
did they win anything?
In fact, you know what?
We toss a prize in for that?
We'll give out a $25 gift card for Hill Street Cafe.
Oh, great. I know where it was. I know where it was.
Employees are exempted.
Oh.
Now,
need a paycheck for that.
Oh.
Now, we've never, a lot of people don't know, I've shot for Burbank. I used to shoot for LA County. I was one of the, whatever they call them, semi-directors or whatever, the volunteer photo program. And you were the head of the volunteer program, and that's why you shot that. Little quick background.
Technically, I still am, but they've tabled the program for a bit. But that was in combination with maybe another hint, a brush fire drill that I was covering for the department.
So you had to hold back where that was, so that was good.
I know. But we'll leave it. We'll be back, and I'll give the whole story next week.
Wow, let's go and move into this week's show.
Well, let's we're talking about $25 gift cards for Hill Street Cafe, which we're going to give out. If you send an email and just say in the head the
word of the week?
No, the head of the location. What do you call the
location for the photo? The photo location?
No. What do you call the line? The subject line. Put the word.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, put the word photo in there, and we'll know you're writing it about the photo. And if you, you know what, first one to send it in. We'll go this time. The first one to send it in, we'll get a $25 Hill Street card.
We'll really know if people are watching us live.
Yeah,
right
that's
now,
how we'll find out who's watching live.
That, and also I wonder if any county firemen would be watching us.
If they are,
they might not have been at this location because
they should know the location.
If any of them are watching, that's our thanks for them watching. But maybe even a bonus or no extra credit. But if you can tell me the station number.
Whoa.
There's only one station number I know offhand.
Station
County
51.
Fire. Station 51 at Universal City.
Right.
And recently
KMG 365.
I listen to LA County all the time. I cannot believe how busy
that station is.
Yeah, 3,900 Universal, the whole Universal property.
And every time there's a fire, they send Engine Squad 51 and, of course, Burbank.
Right.
So last week's winner of our gift card, coming up with the word community, which I thought was a good word, Thomas Huber. Thomas Huber, you are the winner of last week's gift card for Hill Street Cafe. I don't believe you sent an address in with your email. So please send us an email address, and we're going to be glad to send you out that $25 gift card to Hill Street Cafe, which is one of the best restaurants around that people just really don't know enough about. So
it's out on the edges of the city there. And thank you. Congratulations. And thanks for listening and sending in your email. If you don't send us your mailing address, then we just have to arrange a time where we can meet you there for lunch and you can buy us lunch.
There you go.
With your card.
Absolutely. For those listening today on Tuesday, I'll throw it out there. Today is our last day of voting for My Burbank's Best. It closes at midnight tonight on April 30th. So if you're listening to this after April 30th, tough taco. But
wait, it's Taco Tuesday, so
it is Taco Tuesday.
If you're listening to it after this and you have a taco, it's going to be a tough taco.
But you know what? We don't see the votes, and all I do is we get an email that somebody's vote.
Well, yeah,
holy macaroni!
I actually do see the votes.
Well, you do,
and I don't. manipulate them in any way, because I think it's up to the people to vote the way they want to vote. And I will say this. We have a record amount of votes this year.
Right.
I mean, without a doubt, a record amount of votes. And I think we have like 160 categories, and I think close to 100 of them were within 5 votes. The winner was, within 5 votes of. So getting a lot of votes for a lot of things.
I was perusing the list, and you know what's not on there?
Uh-oh.
Of current events in the city and this podcast. Best gun store.
And you probably won't see that.
But true.
Not true.
Even though there are many that may not be there for the next time we do one of these surveys.
We can only hope. So now also we had a couple technical problems on Monday, so that's why our show did not get produced on Monday. We're on Tuesday instead, but we still thought it was important to get the show out this week because we have had it. We've never missed a week yet since we've started doing our show.
And we set everything up.
Yes. And, believe it or not.
Plus that our list of stuff going on.
It takes a while to script this out, by the way, just so you guys know. I spent about 2 to 3 hours putting this list together.
Every stutter, every slur, every mistake is highly scripted, people. You thought
Highly
this was
scripted.
improvised.
Yes.
Well, now people know why I interject stuff because I don't put it in the meeting, and people kind of
Well, you don't show up for dress rehearsal.
You're supposed to dress for rehearsal too, not.
Oops.
Yes, please, and please dress for the show.
Oh my goodness.
Already going down a rabbit hole at 6.5 minutes.
Well, there was no council meeting tonight, so that's another reason it probably didn't matter much. But let's go back to last week. Last week's council meeting, I think it went 9 hours and 45 minutes.
Gravy. I thought that was a typo.
Why not put, and so why not have a meeting 2 weeks in a row and have 2 meetings about 4 to 5 hours each instead of one meeting at 9.5 hours long that you're paying all these people overtime for, and city staff who's working on salary but have to report the next morning at 9 a.m. Holy cow. I mean, you got,
I will say for them, they did change the consent agenda to be right off the top. So a lot of those city staffers didn't have to stay except for the housing people and, Patrick Prescott. But the fire chief and the police chief, there was nothing that they had to.
Oh, the gun store isn't.
Well, the police had probably
right.
a captain there.
Yeah, for the gun store
But,
thing, yes.
But
still.
I wasn't able to watch it. What took up the bulk of the time?
Well, right now we'll talk about that. We had the, they brought back and discussed landlord tenants. And once again, there's no good guys on this. There's no bad guys on this. Both sides have equally good arguments. I'm not sure rent control is the answer because of everything, but I think Burbank's putting in some, basically what they decided to do, and they went on a 4-1 vote with Councilmember Mullins dissenting, was to put together an ordinance that if the termination of the tenancy is based on a substantial remodel, just cause eviction, the owner shall provide relocation assistance equal to the amount of 3 months' rent that was in effect when the notice of termination was issued. And then any owner's failure to comply with regulations on substantial relocation and recollection. Have I got the same words in here twice? On substantial relocation and relocation assistance pursuant to ordinance shall render notice of termination of tenancy void and shall be an affirmative defense of an unlawful detainer action. I love when the city attorney writes these things out, don't you? You know what? I don't speak attorney. I only speak English.
I just fell asleep on the second paragraph.
I remember an unlawful detainer from the academy.
Yeah. So basically what they're saying is that if a landlord and these corporations come in, they buy in a building or anything else, and they say, you know what, everybody out, we're going to renovate this building. Well, if they do that, they have to give the tenant 3 months of rent money to relocate, which I think is fair. Ross, I see you had that look.
I'm biting at the bit because
Go ahead.
Well,
as a
Ross,
renter,
you could have benefited from this, right?
exactly. I have been evicted, and
for exactly that reason.
exactly. And the guy, my guy that lived above me, 29 years, and we lost quite a bit of money. I lost a security deposit. Hired a Burbank attorney, and he ripped me off of $1,500, and the guy above me for $1,500 to tell us, "Oh, just go to court and accept what they give you," And
you want to name that attorney?
No,
Probably won't make Myberg's best, will he?
Well, we could make that a contest.
Yeah, exactly.
Name that attorney.
Recently, I was told that he is now on the board of the Chamber of Commerce. But,
oh boy! Well, now,
I'm thinning it out there. I
yes.
got to be careful.
If people want to know who it is, they'll have to do the research, but they can find out now.
Right. And, I don't know if you said it a minute ago, that meeting was 9 hours and 45 minutes. I stayed awake for the whole friggin' meeting.
You've never stayed awake that long.
You were so correct. How many times have I fallen asleep the first 50 minutes of a TV show? But you know what? Like you said, there's no good guys and bad guys. We have a couple of bad apples that have moved into town, some developers, some apartment owners.
Not moved into town, they bought into town. Yeah, they don't live here.
Right. And they're being, when you're a tenant, I can tell you, when you have a mortgage versus paying rent, and you have to worry about that all the time of a landlord putting a notice on your door, or you come home and something's taped to your door and you go, oh no. I mean, your heart stops. And I feel for a lot of these tenants that just know of it. And then what got me is when I went to court, there's this guy that 1-800-EVICT now or something. He's the one counsel talked about. He's the one that was representing my landlord. And one of his employees used to be a Burbank City employee in the Parks Department. Comes up to me, says, "Oh, I know you, blah, blah, blah." And then I still get evicted.
I know you, screw you.
Yeah, so.
Well, they don't, it's like they don't care about the people in the buildings. They just care about the building.
Yep.
Well, it's not a good situation. But I think that they got to bring this back now and vote on it. And so I think something's going to put in, it's not going to be rent control, because I think the state kind of already sets rent control at, I think, 6% a year or something.
Well, didn't I hear that during the meeting? They said some of that is done by the state.
Right. The state's put in, already put in precautions.
But all these other things.
Right. But things such as the no fault eviction, that is something that's not covered by the state, and something that should have been covered by the state, but Burbank will cover that. So.
Yep.
Now, the reason I was not there that night is I was given the down low that the Burbank Burros baseball game, they were going to honor Bob Hart before the game for 20 years as a coach and all the service he's given there. So I decided that I would go and support him, and he didn't know about it. And they had a nice little ceremony for him that the city gave him a proclamation, and a lot of people were there. His entire family was there to celebrate with him.
Bob didn't know about it, either did we, because I don't see it written in our show notes.
Well, that's because
that's where you were.
That's because you have nothing. You weren't there either.
I caught you. No. I caught you on this one.
Did Sherwood cut his ankle bracelet off again?
Yes, because you weren't there either. So that's why I didn't figure you'd want to talk about it. But anyhow, Bob has, before he came there was a coach every year, and they hadn't won a league game in probably 4 or 5 years. And it was right up to the time when Freddie Sanchez had been there. And Freddie Sanchez was the MVP there when they didn't win a league game. I mean, that's how bad they were.
Freddie Sanchez, not everybody is a ball player.
Well, not a ball player fan.
Okay.
Freddie Sanchez, who graduated from Burbank High, went on to Glendale College, went on to NAIA school, and then was drafted. Played for the Pittsburgh Pirates, where he later became a National League batting champion. But he played for Burbank High. So that was before Bob got there. But since Bob's been there, it's completely turned around. And Bob puts the player development over wins and losses. And I don't want to say that the wins and losses don't matter, because they do, and he does care about winning and losing. That's not the point. But he understands what we all do is that the chances of these players going to play either D1 or get drafted and play Major League Baseball are very, very tiny. I coached 40 years and was lucky enough to get 4 kids up to the Major League level. And it wasn't me. It was just because they had talent. It wasn't because I was a great coach or anything else. Even when I was at Burroughs, we had a couple guys go to D1. But it's so hard to get anybody above high school level. Most of them will go to a JC or a Division 2 or 3 school. But the thing is that having them develop as men with responsibility, teamwork, all the things that, are involved. And Bob reads kids better than anybody I know.
Well, if I recall right, I've talked to Bob many, many times, and kudos to Bob Hart. He takes and mentors to the top degree. I mean, some of the things that he does, every year I cover the Memorial and Veterans Day ceremonies. His baseball team is there.
Yes.
He invites the members of our armed services to baseball games and honors them at games. And, Bob has his prior history. He dealt with some bad kids. He knows.
Well, he worked in the juvenile probation department.
And
so he knows how kids carry themselves. And I tell you what, if you're lying, he's got you. He can tell from a mile away if you're not truthful. So, and that's why, when we start doing our coach's corner, which by the way, we'll come back as soon as the baseball season ends. I picked him as a co-host because I just think there's more to him than just being a jock or being an athlete or just talking sports. He understands the makeup of a person, and I think that's important. So that's why he's our co-host on Coach's Corner. But a good guy.
Well, you know what? We got 5 pages to go, and
do I need to bring back the rabbit hole pen?
Yeah,
I mean, I can. Yeah, you know what though?
That was a very good.
Okay, considering we got 1 page with nothing on it, I'm looking at.
But let's finish up with that council meeting because
the city council
9 hours. People wonder.
Well, they also did say about retail firearm businesses, and they directed staff to proceed with exploring incentivizing the transition of interested firearm retail businesses and determining the level of financial resources required, which basically means they've heard someone want to leave the business or go out of business, whatever. And they're going to ask them, what's it going to take, financially for us to either buy your business or buy you out or whatever it's going to be.
Early retirement. But we talked about this last week, and that was basically that there was a proposal for this. Now the city council has looked at that and said, yes, go ahead and follow up on that.
Yeah, they're going to follow up and see what the financial resources are going to entail. But here's the one problem. I have still seen nothing that says, let's say they buy 5 stores out or down to 8 or 9 stores. Well, what's to stop 5 or 6 more stores from coming in and starting business? I mean, until we get a moratorium, not a moratorium, but an ordinance about how many we're allowed to have total in Burbank, I don't see why we're doing this.
Well, think about it.
Like I said last week, they're putting the cart before the horse on this. They're not ready for the results that are going to happen if they start buying these places out. But is that part of the whole proposal, is to look at that as well, or?
Well, I'm just going to what I saw in the city. Now, Ross, you watched the entire meeting, so what did they say about that?
I did, and basically it was just a report. I had never, in listening to the whole firearms thing since day one, ever heard them talk about, the incentives to buy a store out. And if that store does get bought out, I can't see, again, scratching my bald head, why would you buy a store out and then just let somebody else keep the same store? I would think.
Well, but now is the city going to now own these stores, these properties?
Well, see, that's what kind of leads you to the question. Where we were citing, where was the gun store that decided to retire after many,
I think it's Culver City, I think.
Yeah, and the city, it's not. I guarantee they got best top dollar for their business.
I think they gave them fair market value.
Well, okay. That's still now fair market value.
And it was a family owned business, and they'd been there for many, many years, and decided
Martin B. Redding, big famous store.
And they just decided that they wanted to work with the city, and they said, okay, a fair price, and we'll take it. And For all I know, they're making a park there. Who knows?
Well, so this goes to show us, we have said it on this show many times, this is going to be a long, drawn out, it's not an ordinance or a law. That
Well,
Burbank
it can't
can
be
just
that long and
jump.
drawn out because an emergency ordinance is going to expire later this year. So
But
they
as
have
we
to
have seen on other ordinances, they will come up with something. They're not just going to throw something together.
I understand, but they have to have an ordinance together this year because they can't extend it again. So they've already extended it once. Can't do that again. So they will, but I hear it's going to be probably around August or September before they come back with it. So, but hopefully they're going to, limit the amount of gun stores in Burbank, saying no more than 5, no more than 6. They're going to limit where they can be. But I think they should limit how many.
I'm sure there's enough attorneys involved where they've got to be working on that, I assume.
We'll move on to Thursday. Thursday, there was a public meeting over at the Buena Vista Library. In fact, we have a video of the entire meeting up on our YouTube page if you'd like to gander at it and watch what happened. But they had a meeting about the development over at Pass and Riverside Drive. And
Now, Craig, you were there. Were there 50, 75 people in that room?
the place is full.
Okay, most chairs were filled.
Right.
I watched our video and I was amazed. But also, didn't they put a notice on your door last week when I walked in the door?
Not one of the neighbors is walking around putting it on people's doors.
Well,
yes.
everywhere around here.
Yes.
So no wonder they got a good turnout. But you know what? You were there.
Well, I think people are fearful, and the things they complain about are things that, the NIMBY approach to a lot of things. Development's going to happen, but people are upset. Well,
exactly.
You're going to put like 5 or 6, 7 low housing, in here, and they actually told people what the formula was going to be, and right now it's people making between 50 and 80,000 a year, but they also said people were saying, well, why can't you make the whole thing like that? Well, you know what? Hey, here's a news flash. The developers develop to make money. Developers don't do it that's the way you have public housing and you have private housing.
I got a quick question. Craig and I were driving earlier, and low costs when they put these in, is that Section 8?
No.
Okay.
No.
There's your answer, Craig Durling.
I sit corrected.
I'm sure they can work out things with Section 8, but what it is that it's for like 40 or 50 years that the unit can only be, and they have a formula that the LA County has a formula. And
right, I remember them talking about it. But
right now it's between 50 and 80,000 a year. If that's what your yearly salary is, then they price the unit for that type of thing. So it's
I remember when Marathon Communications came to us, breaking the story that they wanted to build there, and I remember saying to you, the neighborhood's going to go apeshit, literally, when they see a 7-story building, and what they originally were going to put there was a market and all sorts of other things. That developer has sat and met with how many of the residents besides at this meeting? This is a required meeting, but he's taken the market out. He's changed.
Well, he's taking taking the market out, but he's not taking the retail out. He's just changing it to restaurants.
But still, the number of people in that's a residential neighborhood to me, and read the story or look at the video that we did. Because the pictures are there. It's on our front page on My Burbank. Look at that 7-story building. Would you want to live on National and have the people looking in your
Evergreen?
backyard?
Yeah. I mean, it's the height is a concern. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you know what? Chop off 2 stories and charge more for the ones you're going to charge for then. So you still make your money. You just don't have to go as high and make people, uncomfortable. But
I think I was glad to see how many people were in that room, because how many times do we say on this show, you hear people go to city council and say, when did this all happen? Who made these decisions? And it was nice to see, but most of those, I only heard, I think, 5 people that got up and said they were in support of that building. You know what? You and I, we remember when Sorrentino's was on that corner, when Sony was there. It's going to change. We need more housing in Burbank. Same thing with up the street at Lakeside Car Wash. That project is being held for, I don't know how
stagnant.
long.
It's like the IKEA project, stagnant.
Well, and that's the thing, this one so there will be a lot more coming out, but it was nice to hear the develop.
Well, this has to go in front of the planning board before it even goes to the city council. So, I mean, they have to do a CUP, which is conditional use permit for some of the things they want to do there.
You mean like a dog grooming place, like the place up on First Street that had to get a use?
Well, no, this would be work for, I'm sure, for parking thing. And the developer said on this, he's going to provide more parking than is required.
And he pointed out he has not asked for one variance. He has not asked for any trades because he's listened to the people that live around there. This is not going to go up next week.
Yeah. Well, if he listens to people, then it won't be 7 stories.
That's right.
It'll be a Kinko's.
So, I mean, I think this entire area should be limited to no more than 4 stories. If I had my personal say, I think 4 stories is enough for.
I think, and I recall quite well when they put in the 2 towers on Alameda, the Disney building, which was 19, and then the other one that's 32.
Right. Now owned by Worth.
And, well, yeah, it wasn't at the time, but the neighbors, the shadow effect, I remember the meetings that people went to city council and said, who approved this? You will never see a high rise in Burbank again after those 2.
I also remember there's also a glare. The sun was hitting those buildings and doing a glare problem, and they had to change the windows because of the what was going on with the sun.
I'm glad people are getting involved. I know some of these people, they have their mindset that they're not going to get it approved. Yeah. Folks, like Craig said, the developer is in the business of making money. He lives in the neighborhood.
Well, no, his spokesman does. His lawyer.
Right. Well,
his lawyer lives in the neighborhood.
But he also knows what goes, he seems like he's really, but some developers are like that.
I mean, I think he's going to try. I think, it's going to happen. And I think you don't work against it, work with him, because I think if everybody works together, maybe we'll get a decent project out of it. And we've
seen other projects in the city where they fight, residents fight. And then the developer goes, okay, you know what? I'm going to reclassify this property as something else. And there's nothing you can do about it now.
Yes.
So, careful what you wish for.
A side note to that is that my understanding, and I do not know the full, once again, not a lawyer, nor do I play one on television, but the SB 9 was shot down by the California courts, and it does not apply to incorporated cities like Burbank. Now, if that is what the case is, I'm not exactly sure if that's exactly what the ruling is, but if that's what it was, that means the projects like on Empire would not have been approved.
Yeah, Burbank. 120 units with 7 parking
140
spaces.
Units with 7 parking spaces.
Yeah, I mean, come on, folks. What are you?
Because it's already started now, they can't stop it.
Right.
But at least we will get another 2 or 3 of those.
If I recall right, didn't that?
And I'm not sure about that
control back to the cities on some of the things. That's right. What I believe.
It still wouldn't have stopped things like the Pickwick project and like that, because SB 35 is still in effect. But, this guy on Pass and Riverside, if he got enough, blowback, he said, I'm going to make this a full SB 35 project. And now you guys, guess what? Now you have no input.
Screwed.
You have no input.
Now they have to concede nothing.
That's what happened to the Rancho people with the Mariposa project.
Yep.
He changed it to an SB 35 project, and now it went to housing, and now they got screwed.
You remember, again, a different developer came to us. We printed that, and people
same developer.
No. I mean, not as the Riverside Pass project.
Oh.
Mariposa is
right. Okay.
But I remember when he brought that to us, and we broke that story.
Yeah.
And the Rancho people said, not in my backyard.
It was a very green office-type building that would have only been, not been working 24 hours a day and all that stuff. And it was a very...
So he kind of said, you guys want to screw with me?
Yeah.
It's now an SB 35 project.
Now it's
you
housing.
have no input.
So now you've got people driving in and out of the thing day in and day out, morning, noon, and night.
So, I keep jumping cameras and I apologize. My finger got crazy there. It was a long meeting. A lot went on. And then the next day, or on Thursday, that public development meeting, people, you need to, I know people have busy schedules, but you got to pay attention and go to these meetings. If not, at least watch our video. It's not that we want the hits. We want you to be aware of what's going on in the community. You might live on the hill. But you know what? There's projects going on up there. So it was a real well done video. But like I said, you get to hear people.
It's and you know what? It's an unedited video also. I didn't just put in the parts and take out parts. It's, it's the entire meeting from start to finish, and there's no cuts in it. And by the way, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We need subscribers.
Moving along. I know.
Last thing I have last week is we had the drug take back event on the weekend.
Yeah, I guess Saturday was also the proms for our local high schools, and I was asked to shoot some pictures of some local kids, and I went to Johnny Carson Park, and wow, you remember the chili cook-offs? That's how many people were in that park.
It's always that way. Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
It's always full.
And these kids have their own. I'm looking for a nice background, no power lines. These kids, they just want to climb on each other and, show off their fancy dresses. So I got the pictures and got out of there. But you're right. We did have a drug take back event. And didn't you say to me that you did some studying? Burbank was one of the largest cities.
They sent, DEA sent out a release and said Burbank was like number 3 last time they did this in the amount taken back.
Or the amount that they took in?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
good.
Well, I wasn't feeling well, and I didn't get by there. I still have a bag for the next time they do it. They do it twice a year.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll get a report. I don't know if we'll get it from Burbank PD.
Burbank PD never sent any stuff out. It was always the DEA sent all the stuff to me.
Well, I remember when I shot pictures, I used to ask could I get how many pounds? So they weigh that. And it's, they did a good job. It's something, again, not every city does.
Well, it's not. I think the reason they do, the DEA goes to certain areas, and they're the ones to decide where it gets done at.
Well, what's funny is they
usually grant funding and stuff that pays.
Right. That's not
for events like that.
They're just using it because they want to do it in the Burbank area and they use Burbank PD. Like they use the fire department training center for hazardous waste.
Well, it's funny. Not a lot of people know that they have incinerators still out at Olive View Medical Center. And I remember every year or every time they did these drug take back, they would burn all this stuff out there. That's the only way they found. And I remember LA City Fire or county going, because it just puts out black smoke. Well, I don't know if they still do it that way, but for years, that's how I knew it was a drug take back day.
Because you can't burn wood at a fire training center. I don't think you can burn narcotics in the middle of a city.
And does that put out any kind of when they burn, does that put out any kind of, do the deer and bears in the hills get higher?
No, but think about it. AQMD, that's why fire department can't do training drills anymore. You have to get permission from AQMD. And
I'll give you an even more exact response. Back in the day, when we were doing baseball, and it would rain, and the infield would have puddles on it. Well, we used to go out and just get some gasoline, and we threw it on the infield, and we would burn the puddles off, and it would dry the infield.
Wait! Where the hell who came up with that idea?
Oh, that was done for years.
Really?
And then around the 90s, all of a sudden, the fire department started responding and saying, you can't, and the AQMD started saying, we're going to fine you if you do that again. You can't do that because it would put out the black smoke. But I'll tell you what, after about an hour of burning, that infield would be nice and dry and ready to go.
All right, we're going down rabbit holes. Years ago, my brother bought a table, a ship hatch, and he wanted to make it look antiqued. And he had a Bunsen burner, and he's burning it, 2 inches by 2 inches. He's got really, he said, I want to get this done quick. So he poured a can of gasoline on it. He lit that. I'll never forget, my brother was wearing a toupee at the time. We had a pool in my parents' backyard. The toupee went flying into the pool, and then we heard sirens, and it's like, oh shit, they're coming. And
somebody think a squirrel was on fire in the pool?
Well, it turned out that there was a plane crash at Hollywood Way in Verdugo, and that's what they saw, the smoke they were going to. But my brother thought he's going to jail for life for starting this fire. So
are we sure that this statute of limitations has expired on all these stories you're telling?
My brother just moved out of state.
Oh, so he's fleeing.
And the coach
fugitive.
And the coach I worked with who did this has passed away.
So he's safe. Well, I never heard that. Now they didn't do that at like pro fields, right? Like Dodger Stadium.
No, because they actually have good drainage systems. High school fields, it's
they have puddles.
Yeah. So
wow. Are we going to a commercial?
I think it's time for a commercial. I think we'll get into.
We got to come up with some more stories.
Yes, we do. Well, we'll take a break here, and we'll be back with you in just a few minutes.
Enjoying the show right now? Thinking you may want to do your own podcast? My Burbank Talks is renting out our podcast studio on an hourly rate. You can do audio podcasts or both audio and video, and even bring in guests to talk with. We will help you get set up on podcast platforms and start a YouTube channel, and we can edit your productions to make you look and sound your very best. If you are interested, please drop us an email at studiorentals@myburbank.com. That's studiorentals@myburbank.com, and we will get back to you. Now, back to our show.
All right.
Well, wait a minute. I can't get. Oh, wait. Okay, the false tooth is in. Did that commercial start saying, "Are you enjoying the show?" Our stories are off calendar today. People, we're doing the show a little different today, different hours. You got to be enjoying the show. Come on.
Or your money back. So once again,
all of our meds are in full swing,
Yes.
in an afternoon like this.
So Craig Sherwood with you once again, along with Ross Benson. And of course, we have on remote location on a place that we're not telling you until next week, Craig Durling.
You got to figure it out. Hey, everybody.
Let's get into to this week. So yesterday,
What a boring week.
and this here we go. So you know how one of my pet peeves is always, let's have 2 meetings at the same time. Let's have 3 meetings at the same time. So how you guess on yesterday? How many meetings they had? None.
What?
Why wouldn't they take one of those other meetings and put them on a
They
day
could have
where
had a
there's no
5.5
meeting?
hour city council meeting.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Was Monday? Did the Dodgers play? Why did
the Dodgers played. The Dodgers did well.
They did. They won. But why didn't they have a meeting? What's going? I don't get
Everybody
it.
was at the Dodgers game.
Yeah, but why don't they schedule meetings out so there's not more than one meeting on the same day? And then they have days with no meetings whatsoever.
Then you have a 9.5 hour meeting.
And by the way, the city council meeting today, no meeting again.
They're exhausted.
So
They're
two meetings.
recuperating.
Exhausted looking at their schedule.
They're
Yeah.
sleeping.
I don't get it. I don't get how they come up with this stuff, and it's just like they do.
Well, and you've asked the mayor this on the show before, right?
And he said he'd look into it, and you know what he looked into? I don't think he looked into it.
And he doesn't set the schedule. He doesn't set the schedule, right?
No, but the guy who works for him does.
Good point.
Yes.
We need to get him on the show. Let's get an official statement from him.
Yes. I will never. I will not be like other bodies and throw him under the bus. I will not do that.
Wow, wow.
I'll tell you that animal shows are on Wednesdays up to business again.
Yeah, but Wednesday we have the lowest tomorrow. Well, tomorrow for those listening today, and if you're not, it's Wednesday on May 1st, May Day. May Day. What else is
Don't
May?
say that too loud. There's an airport nearby.
Isn't there a
D-Day, you're thinking?
But I think it is not tomorrow the day that they have all the labor people do their marches to celebrate being in unions and stuff
Wait,
like that.
isn't
or-
that on May 5th? Or no,
It's
that's
not Labor
Cinco de
Day?
Mayo.
That's Cinco de Mayo.
Oh.
Do you know what Cinco de Mayo is for?
Uh-oh.
Why do we celebrate Cinco de Mayo?
Why do we celebrate?
know?
Why do we celebrate Cinco de Mayo?
Nobody knows because we only do it here in the United States.
It was the day that a ship called De Mayo sank.
Yes. Everybody says it's celebrate Mexican independence. No, that's that's some other time of the year.
So is this like another Hallmark?
This is something like they had the Mexican defeated the French in some battle or something, but I hear in Mexico they don't even celebrate Cinco de Mayo Day. It's just that the beer companies in America did what the greeting card companies did for Valentine's
It's another
Day.
Hallmark holiday. It's
Yes,
just
it
like
is.
Valentine's Day and all that. But I just looked up May 1st is International Workers' Day, also known as Labor Day in some countries, and often referred to as May Day, is a celebration of laborers and the working classes that is promoted by the International Labor Movement and occurs every year on the 1st of May or the first Monday of May.
And I think they have a
Thank you, Wikipedia.
right. I think they actually have marches tomorrow. They always have marches planned for it. So
Well, you know what
Well,
else happens in
not
May,
working.
don't you?
What'd you say?
You know what else happens in May, don't you?
the Indy 500.
No, you and I get older.
Oh, we get older every day.
Yeah, you don't need a month for that.
You can talk about yourself. You don't need to talk about.
I know you don't celebrate birthdays,
I don't
but
celebrate
I do.
anything. I don't talk
But
about.
there are a lot of birthdays in May.
You won't see me on Facebook talking about my personal life.
Don't celebrate your birth. Celebrate another day on the planet.
You know, you just brought up a good point. You know what I saw yesterday on Facebook?
What'd you see?
Our city clerk has an official Facebook page as of yesterday, and they are communicating back and forth with people. And I didn't know that the separate departments could do that, but they host their.
Well, she's an elected official. She can do what she wants to do.
Well, they're doing it. So, you know what?
Right.
We were
climbing out of the hole. We're still talking about animal shelter, right?
Well, they're having, once again, they're doing another of their vaccine days from 2 to 5 p.m.
Low-cost vaccines.
So they've done that now every week. I'm not sure
how you even need a coupon.
You know what? I did a little research, and on the city manager notes that I had followed up on 2 years since the police department, since the animal shelter broke away from the Burbank Police Department, and the transition had gone rather well. But a lot of the programs that, unless you own pets or you go to the animal shelter, that they're offering now, one of them blew me away. If there are pets that have been at the Burbank shelter too long, Burbank's a non-kill shelter. They will do anything and everything to get pets adopted. They send them to foster homes. They still Well, they're teaming up with Pasadena Humane Society and taking the dogs over there and taking some of, vice versa, just so they get different exposure in the different neighborhoods. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I do know I saw on, I think, Facebook today, Leadership Burbank, Monday of this week, in their project, $4,900 that they gave to the animal shelter. They paved some new dog runs that the dogs, they hope to be able to expose, people. If you haven't been to the animal shelter, there's only one place that you can visit a dog. And if there's multiple families, it's just gotten too crowded. And they grew out of that place the week they moved in. But they've moved storage around and putting up some new stuff. A very interesting read to see about our animal shelter, because they now answer to the Parks and Rec Department. They are doing a lot more public education. When the Parks Department has park events, they bring dogs and cats out to see if they can get adopted. So, and that's this low-cost vaccine is, they're getting funds for that. Burbank never did that before. So it's nice to see things have changed.
Absolutely. Well, let's see here. What else we have on Wednesday? We have a Civil Service Board is going to meet at 4:30, and they're going to talk about amendments to classification and recruitment reports. Kind of the same old, same old. The Youth Board is going to meet at 6 o'clock, and this month they're going to the Community Services Building in their tour of the city locations, I guess.
Well, I looked at that quick, and I said they're going to CBS. What are they doing on TV? CSB.
I looked at the meetings from last month. 7 of their members were missing. And,
how big is the board missing? If 7 could be missing?
I think there are 15 on the board.
Wow.
Holy moly.
And to have 7 missing, I just go, let's get a little more commitment from people. So I don't know if that's a one-time off or,
I don't think, they had that long discussion at the last council meeting when you're on a board.
Well, I don't know if that.
But I wonder if that, is the same.
I don't know if that. No, I know it wouldn't, because they're not appointed for 4 years. They're appointed for 1 year on that board only. And
so I take it they consider 8 a quorum to have a meeting?
Yeah, it's 15. Yeah, they'd have to have at least 8. Yes.
More than half. Yeah.
I just wonder, though, how many of those people, and I once again, I may be talking totally out of turn, but I get to do that. I hope that they're not on that board to say they're on that board, because it's good for their resume for college.
Seems like a lot of people for a board.
Yeah. I just hope they're on that board because they actually want to be able to do things, and they do a lot of good things to help out, the egg roll and things like that. I just
Wait. Egg roll?
The egg
do
roll.
They have that with chop suey?
Yes, they do.
Or do that is not the word of the week.
What do they call the egg roll? Is the thing, the The thing we're not going to call it Easter anymore.
Oh, the Agathon.
You can't call it Easter.
Maybe they have 15 members of the board, so 7 cannot be there on any given.
But I think if you're going to volunteer for a board like that, you need to.
Oh, I
show
get
up.
it. Maybe they're all kind of part-timers and have their roles, and that's the way they can.
Well,
not have everybody there all the time.
That's true. Anyhow, what they are going to talk about tomorrow at their meeting is they want to talk about the Burbank High School Care Center needs. They're going to have Taylor Foxhall. Do you know Taylor, Ross?
I know Taylor quite well, and he is one of the counselors up there. And if people,
well, he's going to be from FFSA, and he'll be attending to discuss updates. The needs are needs for the wellness center. They need enhanced privacy within the wellness center, and they proposed actually utilizing outdoor space for meetings and directing the funds towards signage. So I think I have concerns about the wellness center at Burbank High School.
Let me just, I have been there. Was there for their opening. The wellness center at Burbank High is kind of outdoor. It's behind the outdoor patio near the cafeteria, and it was a small 10 by 15 room that at the time they needed somewhere for a center, so it was a not used room. But I know Taylor real well. He's been one of the counselors there, and FSA. They see you're going to laugh. You're not going to laugh, but I hear the numbers up at the two high schools of the kids that are going in. You don't realize, people don't think about it. We have a ton of kids that have family over, in the war-torn country, that they're afraid to go to school and they're afraid of their families and stuff like that. And the counseling center is there for anybody and everybody. We did a care walk. Craig and I usually do it every year. Yeah. That's what the funds go to. So kids don't have to pay. Any parent, any kid can go to the wellness center. So when they want to do better signage, 5 years ago, nobody talked about mental health. It was a hidden subject. Today, I talk about it all the time, and it's to both schools. I talked to somebody that I know that had problems with their kid in elementary school, and the counselors from FSA are helping them. So I could understand why they took it to the youth board and why they want to help out up at Burbank High's Wellness Center.
Yep. So sounds like they need help with that, and hopefully they can get the help they need. And just signage means that maybe people don't realize it's even up there who might need it. So, anyhow, moving on to Thursday. Water and Power Board meeting is going to be held at 5 p.m. at the Water and Power Building. And here's something I just, once again, the Water and Power Board is far beyond my needs of understanding. There's a lot smarter people than I am, no doubt about it. But one of the things that they were going to vote on is for commercial stuff, they're going to increase the equipment and installation rebate. Wait. Rebate?
What was that? What?
What's that horn mean?
God, my stomach was regurgitating, and I thought that's what.
Why does that sound? Why do I hear that sound after you say rebate?
It must be the word of the week.
Wow.
So this week's word is rebate. And
what do they do now that we've identified the word of the week?
In the subject line, I can remember what it's called now. In the subject line of an email, send us the word rebate, and we will put you in our drawing for next week's gift card for Hill Street Cafe, a $25 gift card. So please, number one, thank you for listening. They would send that
email to contest@myburbank.com.
Yes, they do. Contest@myburbank.com, and the word is rebate.
And if they want to include their mailing address, we can mail them the card.
I could do a lot quicker.
Save another email for having to send it the next time.
Yes, I can. By the way, we got a I gotta find it. We got a nice little I got an email from somebody who won one of our previous awards, and she sent me a picture of the meal that she used.
Oh, we've got to get that. Got to post that.
We'll talk. Remember, we'll talk about that next week, and I'll find the picture to put on the air.
Sounds good.
Anyhow, so they want to increase rebate amounts for direct current for the fast chargers from $4,000 to $20,000 per port. We're not talking about a little increase. We're talking about a 5 times increase here. So from $4,000
that's a big rebate
to $20,000 per port if it's in a disadvantaged community. For other locations, they want to increase. That's for a lower income area. Now, I'm not sure how lower income areas can afford electric cars to start with, but that's a whole other thing. And they also wanted to have fast charger equipment installation rebate from $1,800 to $10,000 in other areas. Increase utility infrastructure upgrade rebate amounts for DC fast chargers from $3,500 up to $20,000 per port in multifamily residences, publicly accessible locations. Public accessible locations from $1,700 to $10,000. And add a rebate of $3,500 per device for smart outlets at multifamily properties, municipal properties, and commercial properties with employee parking.
Wow, that was a mouthful.
And they're going to have a cap on the rebate of $200,000 per customer.
Well, it kind of gets me when you go through all that and you listen to the news, you listen to the problems with, electric vehicles, the sales are down, some people can't charge here, can't charge there. I was sitting in a parking lot today, in which I saw a lady go up to the charging device and it didn't work. And I don't know, I don't own an electric car. I don't think the three of us do, but I don't think it's all been perfected.
No, I agree 100%. I think they haven't. I think they're, once again, putting the old donkey in front of the cart, and it's great. Green energy, we want to do all these things, but if the infrastructure is not there, and I heard today, or was it yesterday, that Tesla has now agreed to start letting other brands of cars use their charging stations.
Yeah, I picked that up, and you go by down 3rd Street, up by the Colony Theater, there are 50 Tesla spots, and also now up up on San Fernando, across from the old Kmart. That half of that lot is now Tesla chargers.
Well, I just think that I think they have not ever thought out this electric thing. I get it. I understand all the reasons why, but when you're talking about our power grid is not set up for everybody having an electric car. And I'm sorry, whatever you save in gas or not having an electric car, you're going to pay for in electric bills, especially when it keeps going up 9% every year.
Right. Well, how do you think they're generating the electricity?
Well, I drive down Buena Vista 100 times a day, and there's a couple of these in front of Buena Vista Library. And I guess there's different rates at different times of the day that you can use those. And it just kind of gets me. I mean, it's a science in itself. It's right like that lot up at Olive and Glen Oaks. When it's full, it's, when the cheaper rate is, because there's always more cars in there charging.
Well, it's just, I don't think they're, and once again, you get an apartment building. Okay, so we have our new, at Pass and Riverside, it's going to be 120 units or whatever it's going to, I'm not sure what the number is, but let's say it's 50 units. 50 units, each person has 2 cars. Are they going to have 100 electric chargers in that place ready for people to use? I don't think so. That's not, I didn't say in their plans.
What are they setting like a percentage of the parking spaces, like they would disabled parking and stuff like that?
No, they didn't. You know what? They did not even talk about that, and nor did I look for it. But it's something I think I need to bring up and find out. You have the big development going on at Fry's coming up, and once again, that's going to be a lot of high end housing. Are they going to have electric chargers for? And do we have the power grid there to take care of it?
Well, that I remember that was a very big, they discussed that. In that project, it's right like the one on Front Street. They are pretty well. Don't you remember Water and Power had closed that street for a long time so they could relay.
Well, I know that the Ranch Lot Studios, no longer called the Warner Brothers Ranch, but the Ranch Lot Studios they're redoing is that Burbank Water and Power is actually putting a new substation type area in there to not only serve that entire, facility, but the surrounding neighborhood also.
But if you recall, Worth paid the city $13 million
Right.
for them to do it. He's not an electrician. You let the city do it. And it had a power plant before.
Right. But they're going to, because all these new sound stages are going to rely upon
All green.
Green screen technologies and all kinds of video technology. And they're going to need a lot more power than they have now.
Well, I just noticed on page 4 of our show notes, you had written here, look at the amount of money, add a rebate of up to $3,500 per device for smart outlets and multiple family properties, and then implement a rebate cap $200,000 per customer. I mean, we're talking big bucks.
It's a lot of chargers. But I'm glad they totally support the cap.
Well,
otherwise,
right, because,
keep somebody from putting one in every parking space.
We'll figure out the so $3,500 for 10. Okay, that'd be $35,000 for 10. So you're talking about 70 is 20, 140 is 40. So you're talking about probably about between 50 and 60 chargers for rebates. And after that, no more rebate.
And by what year are we all supposed to be driving electric cars?
Well,
you can forget that.
Right, they're going to be. They aren't going to sell them. They're not going to have to drive them.
Right.
You can.
The people who took credit for that will be well out of office by the time that date arrives.
Yes, isn't that the truth? I get it. Like I say, I get it. I understand green energy, planet saving. We're all for it, but you know what? You got to think about what's going to happen down the line. Okay. Lastly.
Oh, wait. I do. Now that I think about it, I didn't put it in the show notes. I'm sorry. We have 2 jailers.
Uh-oh. I didn't do it.
That will be graduating. News? Well, 2 jailers will be graduating from the LA County Sheriff's, whatever there's a special name, Custody
Academy?
Yeah, one of them was a cadet. So she started off here in Burbank as a cadet. And
not to be confused with the Custard Academy.
No.
It's more of a cooking school.
Or a space cadet.
So that will be going on Thursday. Cough my
Hopefully
way.
you never have occasion to meet these people while they're at work.
Yes, that's a job that we all
From the other side of the glass.
support and do not want to participate with.
So moving on.
We wish them well. Congratulations.
So this coming weekend, guess what's back in town? It's the Dig event.
Dig, whose letters don't stand for anything.
Yes. It's the Dig event on all capital letters, and it means absolutely nothing except
And
dig.
I've just looked at their website again to see if they've come up with something, and it's nope.
I sent an email.
Digging.
I sent an email to Jonathan Jones, our incredible PIO, and I said, "It's in all capitals. So what does it stand for?" He goes, "Absolutely nothing. They just capitalize."
But they do have an instructional video on their site, how to dig. Some quick tips on how to pull weeds.
Okay,
so you want to check it out.
Where is that dig event?
Well, I'll say this. Can you dig it? No, that wasn't good. Okay, I gotta use my effect once a show. Anyhow,
okay, but where?
It's going to be at the Don Tuttle Senior Center.
And how many people in Burbank know where the Don Tuttle Senior Center
is? Well, it's at 1731 North Ontario Street.
Of course. Don't you know that? It's right next to the fire department training tower there.
I have.
And Northwest Park. Oh, I'm sorry. Schaefer Field now. At Northwest Park with the Northwest Library. And
you guys go back way too far.
I remember when we used that building for something that we did at the training center. And
yeah, we used to use it for catering for the
right.
all those people.
Hang a left at that cornfield.
Yes. So it's actually a nice little place. Well, you know what?
I agree. Nobody knows it's there.
Guess
you drive
what?
Right by it, never see it.
Guess what? It's come down to. We're about 50.
My favorite part. The only reason I stick around.
And there's only one thing left for us to talk about. And that can be...
when Mr. Sherwood throws the script aside, the rundown aside, there's only one item left.
And that is, and it can only be...
Ross's Rant! Ross's Rant! Ross's Rant!
I'd take a flamethrower to this place!
What's up, Doc?
Ross's Rant this week. Sometimes, when I say rant, I got to attend the Chamber of Commerce Earth Month event at the Ron Davis Eco Park, which is the oldest power plant in Burbank, where it was originally. And I was just really surprised. They had, talking about Earth Day and so forth, all the programs that Burbank Water and Power offers. You know how many rebates?
What? Did you say that word again? Oh.
What do they offer?
They have tons of rebates that I don't think Burbank people take advantage of, because they were really talking, and there were a lot of business companies there and representatives for companies here in Burbank too. They have incentive rebates. So I was the other thing that they're really trying to push right now, how to help people pay their bills. You know, groceries are going up, gas is going up, everything's going up. Your power bill's going up, but it's, you know, some of these people need help. They have over half a dozen different programs to help you pay your power bill. And all you got to do is call that number. I think it's 238-3700, and talk to any of the customer service people. They have people that have been trained on how to help people pay their bill. And I just, you know, I don't think everybody takes advantage of it. The other thing that I think water and power people, there's how many scams? Weren't you and I just talking the other day how many scams are going on? I was told by a department, water and power employee, they're getting hit with hundreds of people getting called in this city with phones that say that it's from Burbank Water and Power, you know, and they're coming out with some new programs to tell people. They do it all the time. Burbank, don't think, you know, you're talking to somebody, confirm it. You can hang up and call Water and Power. There's many ways, if it's after hours or whatever, but.
Well, they're never going to call you to pay your bill. That's not going to happen. You don't pay your bill over the phone. They don't call you and say, pay your bill or we're going to shut your power off. There's a lot of things like they don't do.
Never click a link in an email.
Yes.
That old rule, just like that.
And it's very simple that they just don't. We have not caught up enforcement-wise with the technology. You can use VPNs on computers now, so they can't trace where your computer's from. Where
they
your
will always be a step ahead. That's the problem.
And now they can spoof phones so that it says somebody else's name on the phone, or somebody
you can say anything. You can say the White House.
Yeah,
you can say whatever they want it to say.
Well, I just saw yesterday a report from the FBI that he was talking about all the different, you know, all over the world. You think, you know, somebody in the same town is calling, they're in Ecuador, they're in, you know, Saudi Arabia, they're everywhere around the world. And you don't know it. Don't fall for it, folks. If Burbank Water and Power, if they come out and knock on your door, they will tell you, they'll give you notice prior to shutting your power off, but they will not just shut it off randomly. They won't do it remotely, you know, and it's these scans, these spam and all the other stuff. They were telling me that Water and Power, the customers are getting hit left and right.
I wonder if we could get somebody from Water and Power or the police department to give us a few words on some of that's going on, a little prevention.
We're talking about that. That's maybe in the works soon.
Good. Very helpful. And always changing, too. There's always trends in these scams.
Well, like you said, you're right. Good at it. They're new. There's new ones every day. You know, and some of us have elderly parents still that are alive. How easy they're looking at, you know, you gave them a tablet.
They believe people.
Well,
they believe people.
Right. Well, that's why they don't lock their doors.
They trust people.
My dad, I talk to my dad about this stuff all the time, and he's gotten very savvy, and he had to teach himself to not trust links in emails, these random phone calls that he gets and all that. So now he's kind of, unfortunately, changed the behavior to where he's more suspicious. You know, you don't click when the gas company sends you an email, don't click the link in the email. Go to their website the long way, and that way you know who you're communicating with. But so not so much a rant this week, Ross, but more of a public service announcement.
Yeah, you know, and it's now you give your relatives a smartphone. I have trouble operating my smartphone. Yet, you know, an 80 or 90-year-old push this button. oh, great, my phone was just, copied or whatever, and who it goes to. And even when you see this Norton stuff or this different,
Yeah.
don't click on it, folks.
And-
Protect yourself.
And this just in. Norton's been hacked also.
My dad has made a game out of emptying his junk mail bin. So I told him how to dispose of junk mails and spam. So now he has fun doing it now.
Well, there you go.
Well, that was another week the week that will be for April 29th.
Now April 30th.
Well, you're right.
Live and in color.
We didn't change that line.
Fashionably late this week.
But it's important to get the show out. So we'll be back. We'll be back next Monday night with our regular show.
Before we end the show, you got some stuff. You got the great video of the meeting. Ashley did
I'm not sure how great a video of the meeting is. It's just a video of the meeting.
But it's informational.
Right.
If people are at the gym walking on a treadmill, you can watch it for an hour and 42 minutes.
Yes, you can.
I did in my office.
Please
It
do.
didn't get anywhere.
Everything's available at myburbank.com. We're myburbank on YouTube. And what the Twitter handle that they should go to
is My Burbank News or My Burbank
News.
Sports.
If they want sports.
Yeah,
if
My
they want news.
Burbank Sports has over 3,000 followers alone.
And the other one that I know we try not to jump too far ahead, but I will say we plan on being at Fire Service Day. We're on the flyers that are out there. A lot of stuff going to go on. We're going to do we're going to do a podcast there. I don't know if it'll be live, but there will be car demos. There will be guys climbing up trucks. There will be tons of giveaways.
And after Ross and I were in a meeting this afternoon, it sounds like we might be very busy on Fire Service Day.
Well, I convinced you heard us talk to Mr. Durling.
Me. I was volunteered for something.
This you were. Some of his fantastic pictures that he has taken. We're going to have some big displays from my Burbank and myself. Craig's going to have some pictures there. May 11th, 9 to 2. The fire union, I hear, is cooking up some great grub that you can pay for and buy sandwiches. Farmers Market is across the street. The Burbank PD is going to have everything except for horses, I guess. They don't have an equestrian unit. But from everything from motorcycles to the parking people to a helicopter to the command
Maybe
staff.
the helicopter, the SWAT team.
That's right.
And usually, at least inside, there's some T-shirts usually available for sale or some hats and stuff like that. So always a great day.
Yep.
But we'll have one more show between now and then. So we'll talk about it again.
Yes, we will.
So wrap us up there, Craig.
That's about it. Well, for Craig Durling and Ross Benson, this is Craig Sherwood saying we will talk to you again next week.
My Burbank Talks would like to thank all of My Burbank's advertisers for their continued support. Burbank Water and Power, Cusimano Real Estate Group, UME Credit Union, Burbank Chamber of Commerce, Game Credit Union, Providence St. Joseph Medical Center, Community Chevrolet, Media City Credit Union, UCLA Health, Tequila's Burbank, Logix Credit Union, Hill Street Cafe, Bertain Escobar Wealth Management, and the UPS Store on 3rd Street.